All right, everybody. I know I started my podcast in the house the other night with special guests, but due to, well, I had to make sure my mic was on because due to technical difficulties with microphones and alcohol consumption, there was not much usable content at the end of the night, sadly, because it was good. Uh, Posted a couple things that were in the very beginning of the show, and it was a good time. Uh, but everything from there on out was basically just me anyway. So I'm going to kind of do a little recap and post this in continuation with what we did the other night. Uh, I told y'all that I was going to do a tell all about me, my life, and what got me into woodworking to begin with, and what. Yeah, I live close to a train track. Anyway, it started off. I was I'm an East Kentucky native, born and raised in Pikeville, Kentucky. Actually born with a silver spoon in my mouth, so to say. Couldn't ask for a better childhood. Had a great childhood. My parents afforded me every luxury that any kid would ever hope to have. Uh, they did great by me. I mean, truly great by me and both my younger sisters. I've had some of the best parents that God ever put on this planet, along with family members, the greatest family members. I mean, I grew up with. I know everybody says they got the greatest family, but I did, and I truly do. I've got some of the greatest. Even today, some of my biggest supporters are family members from back home who want to see me succeed, want to see me do well, and that it says a lot for all the shit that I put them through because I was not always a fun loving. Well, actually, maybe I was. I was too fun loving, I guess. Uh, I was a piece of shit for a long time. I grew up doing great. Hell, I was an honor roll student. I was, talented and gifted. I was awesome. I had scholarships. I also like to have a good time, and that having a good time made me think I was a fucking gangster. Traveling the country, you know, bringing back booger sugar, to my fellow hillbillies, doing stupid shit that I shouldn't have done, and it cost me some prison time. Not once, not twice, but three times. Well, first time I did 365 days just to teach me a little lesson. Next go around was a 3 year sentence, and then I was out for 6 months and thought that the world owed me a little favor. 6 months later, I was back in prison. The feds raided me, and I put a hell of a stain on my family name back home, and the fact that they still support me and still, well, I'm not saying they support me, they support what I'm doing. Uh, they they gave me tough love, which is what I needed. I didn't need a free ride, and when I got out of prison the last time, it was rough. It was rough. I did a 5 year bid and got out, and the world hated me. The world hated everything about me. I was a felon. I was a drug dealer. I was a piece of shit. They treated me like I needed to be treated. To be honest with you, um, I have no hard feelings for it. I was I was a thorn in the side of East Kentucky for a long time, and it treated me as if I was. When I got out, I I did everything I could to keep my ass clean and straight and follow the right path, but there was no paths available. I'd done burnt every bridge. I mean, when I say I burnt every bridge, I mean I hell I stole every bit of gasoline at the gas station just to burn this some bitch. Not really, I didn't steal any gasoline, but I did burn every bridge. And in saying that, I was very close to falling on to the same path that I was on that led me to the places. Yeah, it's hotter than hell here in Texas, and bugs are flying. And by the way, I just saw it fit to come out here in a place that I feel most comfortable, and I love to be at my shop to do this. Anyway, I got out. I tried to walk straight and narrow, and by straight and narrow, the only thing I had left was a sewing thread, pretty much to walk. Uh, I had an opportunity come up in Texas that a guy who didn't know me from Adam, uh, had no clue who the hell I was. He'd saw some of my work through a girl that I was kind of seeing at the time, who was friends with his wife, and he was like, "Damn, if he's that kind of carpenter, I need a carpenter. I need somebody down here." Yeah, because all all these dudes down here, they're welders, and I'm not knocking them. There's plenty of jobs for welders down here, pipeline guys, oil field guys, but nobody out here wants to do woodwork. So I loaded up, just like old Beverly Hillbillies. I loaded up a wagon with all I could put on and headed down to Texas. Didn't have money to get back, but I came to Texas. You know, couldn't wait for that first paycheck, if you know what I mean. I came down, and my goal was, after I got here and I realized, assess the situation, I said, well, I'm gonna do this. I'll give you a year, and you know, let's see what we can do. And then we built something great. I I came into a job that the guy needed me, uh, and I definitely needed the job. I came down, and my goal was I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make a name for myself. That way, if this doesn't pan out, I've still got a leg to stand on, and that's what I did. Uh, I built some of the coolest shit out on this lake. Uh, Not just myself. I mean, I had a crew that was right there with me, so I can't take all the credit on that. We did some badass stuff. I mean, we we built some nice friggin' boat docks. And when I say boat docks, I'm not talking about just a little pier out in the water. I'm talking about luxury boat houses. We did great, and over time, it just I had to hankering to do something else. Uh, my heart wasn't in that, and it's never been it truly in like construction. I'm not knocking guys that do it, but to me, it's just repetitive bullshit. I hate it. I'm good at it, but I just hate it. Um, and I think that's what drove me out of East Kentucky. Also, I did not have the desire to frame up homes. The money when coal mines left there, the money left. And nobody in East Kentucky had the foresight to try to do something for the economy, try to bring in tourism. They're starting to now, but my old hometown is a ghost of what it once was. It, they're doing nice things now, but it's nothing like the rest of the world. We were 10 years behind everything that was ever happening. I mean, shit, yeah, I was out here running around with CDs, and we still had 8 tracks. You know what I mean? Uh, Hillbillies are prideful people, truly, and most of them do not want to accept any change, which is hard for economy. But it took me a minute to accept change. I had to come out and go from mountains to flatland. And I still struggle to find my way around out here. Hell, how do you find your way around without a mountain to reference your travels? It's hard. I've uh, I've always had a love for woodworking. Truly, I mean, I love doing this stuff. I love creating. I love being, a artist, so to say. I just love working with wood and creating things with my hands that most people, you know, can't. Uh, I I don't like doing the monotonous, you know, cutting boards and bullshit like that because there's no fun in it. It's not a challenge. I like doing, high end furniture. Y'all saw the whiskey cabinet that I built. I'm no cabinet maker. It's the first of the cabinets I ever really built. To a high end standard. The love I have for it though has always been there, and I've tried so hard over the years to get myself to the point where I could go out on my own. And I've always thought I was cursed because every time that I would look into finding somebody that was selling off all their woodworking or whatever, uh, I'd go buy it and then something crazy would happen. Uh, I lost $100,000 worth of equipment in a friggin' flash flood years ago. Lost shit in divorce. I've lost it, due to a storage unit that I thought was paid that wasn't paid during the divorce. It, I've done it so many times that every time it just seems like the world's against me when I do this. This time I'm going balls to the wall. I mean, I'm just going to go for it, shoot for the stars. You ever want to be anything, you're just going to have to throw it out there. And same with this social media thing. I've never once ever thought that I was going to be on here doing comedy or anything really. I always thought that it'd be cool to do some woodworking stuff and post videos of how things are done. Just because there's a lot of guys out there that are using basic bullshit tools that are hand me downs or bottom of the barrel stuff, and that think they can't create good stuff. You can. I've done it. Do it all the time. I'm still doing it. Uh, I've got some tools that I'm ashamed of, but they get me by. And one of these days, I'll upgrade. But until it completely craps out, I'm not spending money on something. Don't get me wrong, Laguna, Jet, Softstop, y'all ever want to sponsor Old Hillbilly? I can damn sure use some nice tools. I ain't gonna lie. But until that, anyway, I got sidetracked. I always thought it'd be cool to do videos doing that type of thing, and that's where I got started. I started. I was like, hey, I'm going to do a podcast and bring on blue collar guys and let's talk about the hardships and the struggles of getting into these and the benefits and the rewards of getting into these professions. And I kind of got sidetracked and made a few jokes, and people thought I was funny, so I started doing some comedy stuff on here, and it's blowed up. I ain't gonna lie, it's blowed up, but that's not where my heart's at. My heart's in building and creating and doing cool shit and teaching people the proper techniques and teaching people that you don't have to have this $1 million shop to you know to build. You don't. Hell, I don't. I mean, I've got hand me down tools. I've got some nice tools. I got some woodpeckers over there, but I've also got some empires. I use the empires more than I do the woodpecker. I've got just my whole shop's filled with tools that I use every single freaking day. I'm not going to spend $200 on something that I can pick up at Home Depot for $100 and it do the same job. Uh, Nobody ever taught me how to do this. My old hillbilly ass was hanging out with family members and old guys back in the day that were doing, some nice stuff. My great uncle Jim, dude is a freaking phenomenal woodworker. He never took it by trade. He just loved to do it. He did it for the love of doing it. I mean, this man made some of the most beautiful ink pens, and everything he did top notch, professional. Great dude. I mean, and he took the time to show me stuff and tell me stuff and pass down tools. I mean, I borrowed and messed up all kinds of tools he has over the years. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know why in hell he fooled with me back when I was young, but he did. He did, and I've still got some of his wood that he gifted me that he was using to do blanks and stuff with making ink pens. Dude was phenomenal. My grandmother's second husband. Uh, she married another guy after my grandfather died out of loneliness, I guess, whatever it is. The whole family hated this dude. I ain't gonna lie, I did too. Till I kind of got to know him. He was loud. He was aggravating. Dude was a genius when it came to woodworking, for real. I mean, I've got a bunch of his wood over here on the fucking shelf still. That I'm hoping to use eventually. That I've got saved back for special times. Uh, Dude had a weird way of showing it, but he all he wanted to do was teach. Somebody. He couldn't see, he couldn't hear, he couldn't get around, he couldn't breathe. Hell, he barely get out of the goddamn house, but he was willing to pass knowledge down, and somehow I absorbed it, not knowing it. My dad hates building shit. He'd rather pay to have something built. Now, don't get me wrong, he's got a shop full of shit now. He's looking to retire doing some cool stuff, but growing up, he didn't. He had no desire to build anything. He was like, "Hell, I get out there and work. I'm just gonna, you know, I need something done. I pay for it." And not that he didn't teach me anything. Everything I know though, I pretty much self taught. I I did YouTube videos, trial and error, cutting fingers off. I mean, shit happens. See, made a good booger picker though. I ain't gonna lie. It's been rough road getting here, but I'm finally to the point now that I want to do some cool shit. I want to showcase being from East Kentucky. I want to showcase what us old hillbillies can truly do because I mean these people out here in Texas are going freaking nuts over my woodwork, and I ain't gonna lie. I'm probably the best carpenter slash woodworker within 100 miles. Back home, I probably wouldn't be in the top 100. I truly believe that. I would not be in the top 100. Uh, there's dudes out there that are so much better than me, and it's shown me that there's a market out there. There's a market. I'm in the process right now of doing some stuff that I'm just waiting on some corporate sponsorships to get back with me before I go full throttle on some stuff. I'm going to be doing some cigar ashtrays, some cigar humidors, some whiskey barrel art. Uh, I'm just going to wait and see what comes down the pipeline because I can't offer stuff that might interfere with said sponsorships, but there's some awesome stuff coming. I promise you. Uh, and if it doesn't pan out, we can't meet in the middle, then this old hillbilly's gonna be building some badass shit. Um, After I decided to go out on my own, I've I love Texas. I love it here. I mean, it's Wild West. I mean, for real. Uh, ain't nobody down here who gives a damn. They don't care that I'm a felon. They don't hold no grudges. They get rat's ass. They good people for real. Good people. Um, they welcomed this old hillbilly with open arms and then pushed me to do shit that I wasn't you know familiar with or whatever. But it's been a hell of a chapter. But at the same time, if I'm getting into my art, I've seriously considered, you know, relocating back to Kentucky because even if the economy is shit there, all the stuff that I'm doing on here and with my sales and stuff is online. I can do that anywhere in the world. Plus, I'd like to see some mountains. Um, ain't nothing like waking up in between two mountains and walking out, sitting on your back porch, drinking a little coffee. Or sitting down and the sun's going down, and drinking a glass of whiskey. Come on, man, bring you home every time. I don't know why. It it's been a journey, and you know I try to give you all the best I can. It's hard. I'm in the process also of splitting my content. I do the comedy, hee hee ha ha shit, make y'all laugh, and I've got to split it from my woodworking stuff, of course, because I want to be taken serious for my woodworking. And at the same time, I still want to continue to make y'all laugh. I mean, shit, I've had multiple opportunities that have arose, uh, getting offers to be on television shows, shit like that, and that all came from my comedy stuff. That wasn't from my woodworking. But at the same time, I'm in talks with distilleries and you know major companies with my woodworking. Uh, Ain't nobody sent me no checks yet. Just saying. First people that do, I'll let you know. But there's a lot of things going on, and this old hillbilly ain't getting rich. I mean, fuck, I ain't seen a dime of any of it yet. Facebook ain't paid me nothing. Ain't none of it. Yeah, I'm out thousands on friggin' audio, video, lighting, and all this shit to do this. Now counting the editing software, uh, it ain't easy. I do it because I like to do it. I do it because I think it's fun. I enjoy interacting with you all, and I hope it keeps going. This old hillbilly is about out of beer, and got to go in and get another one. I just kind of wanted to talk with y'all a little bit, give you heads up of who I am, where I've been, what I've done, and where I'm going. There's a lot of shit coming down that's gonna be worth sticking around for. Uh, Everybody that watches, if y'all could just hit that friggin' like and subscribe button, it's all it takes. It ain't gonna cost you a damn dime. Hit that like button. Hit that follow button. Follow me. So Hillbilly's got a lot to teach you, and this old hillbilly's got a lot to make your ass laugh about. I love y'all. Show us, or we better some love back.